Um, so yeah, so just make sure you make a decision. Like, don't forget to come back to that later. Make a note on your paper.
Okay.
All right. So now that we have our script in place, you're going to practice. Okay, those steps that we talked about. Before we do that, what are you gonna do if you have like that student who like monopolizes your time, asks you a bunch of questions, like when you're doing your laps? How would you approach that to make sure that you're in the flow?
It's going to have to be
doing
short.
Your routes.
It's going to have to be quick. And if we're just talking specifically lap 1, I'm just going to say all of your lap 1 looks good. We'll get back to lap 2 whenever I'm looking through lap 2.
Okay.
So we'll get back to that. Keep going. Go on to the next problem for the next few steps, and we'll get right back to it.
All right, very good. So let's take it live and practice. I'm gonna give you this clipboard so we can pretend Mark.
Gotcha.
Practice in a moment because you're gonna do your tracker and stuff later.
Okay. I'm gonna put this on the board real quick,
okay?
Just because that's how we had it. And on the board is where I did define the laps as well. I think color coded.
Okay.
So if I had y equals the x of 5, take x equals y over 5. I broke down in lines. This is what I'm looking for in lap 1. In lap 2, and I will, because I'll go through the example of each and every step, I will go ahead and let them know what I'm looking for in each lap.
Right.
That way they know, but also to have a full example.
Okay.
So we're working with logarithms, understanding that the base of an exponential is also the base of a logarithm. Rx, and finally our exponent, y over 5. So that's pretty much the newest lesson. Lap 2 is actually the brand new part of what they were learning.
Okay.
And then lap 3 is algebra. Knowing that if they are solving for y, which in this case for inverses they are solving for y, being able to isolate y. In this case for number 1, just multiplying both sides by 5. And that's what I would be looking for in lap 3, is the algebra 1 piece and isolating y.
Awesome.
So I will lay out the steps completely before, and then I will let them know all I'm looking for is lap 1. Go ahead and knock out lap 1 or go ahead and knock out the first step for the whole front side of the page, and then move on to the second step.
Cool. All right, let's practice it in a moment using your script.
All right, you all know your laps currently, or your steps currently. I'm actually gonna go ahead and start on lap 1. Again, all I'm looking for on the front side of the page is whether you switched out your X's and your Y's. All right.
Is your clipboard?
My clipboard. And I will mark that paper. All right, this is good. Go ahead and finish out lap 1, or finish out the first step on the rest of those. So far, so good, though. You're already on lap 2. You're good. I'm gonna mark all of them, though.
Don't forget to do what?
Mark my own track.
Yes, track it.
Good. So then, just mark, and it would be an easy mark then. On the tracker. All right, good. Keep going, correct. So, you're skipping this step. I'm gonna come back. Make sure you have the first step for each one before moving on. Now we'll actually come back to it with a question mark. This is good. It's correct. All right.
Very good.
And that's lap one.
That's lap one. Did you notice any trends in the data as you were looking at it? Were most kids good?
The trends on this particular lap, most kids are good. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd say all kids are good. If the even the ones that were missing it, their following steps were becoming correct.
Right.
However, they're missing that step, and there's no guarantee that it will be correct in the future if they do.
Okay. I want you to come. I'm going to be that student now.
Oh boy. Okay.
So come to me. Mr. Cortez, like, I still get, like, what do you mean? Like, y equals 5? I mean, I just don't know. I don't know if I got it right. Is it right?
Your first step you've already knocked out. Now, I notice you haven't knocked out the first step for all the other
Well, can
problems.
you help me right now? Because I don't understand. I feel like I'm doing it all wrong.
I can. Go ahead and point to Y real quick.
Okay, so let me stop.
All right.
Am I taking up too much of your time? You have to
Already?
get all?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you got to make a decision. So you can make a note on your
I
clipboard
see.
to like follow up with that student because they need more time or more one-on-one attention. So you may want to pull them in a small group or
Right.
something like that. But remember, you got all these other babies to hit for this lap. So you got to say like, okay, I'll come back to you. I'll follow up. Okay, but you want to be intentional,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So very good.
Got it.
Awesome. All right.
All right.
So, you did great, by the way. So let's decide on a time, so that when I can come in and see you doing this practice with your exemplar map, with
Okay.
your tracking sheet, what would be a good day for me to come back?
A good day, not the week before spring break. So, what is that week? March 8th?
So common assessments are next week. So let's do the week after.
The week after.
Okay. So what day is that? Put it on your calendar.
I'll pull it on this calendar.
So I'll come. Is that
Is
same?
that March already?
Yeah, I think so. Let's, common assessments. No, that's the
Okay.
last week of the month. So that's 6th period. We'll do that Tuesday.
Is 6th period still good with you?
Yeah, 6th period.
6th period Tuesday.
Tuesday the 25th.
Okay.
So on that day also, I'm gonna be looking to see like you got your materials complete. So I wanna see like the map
Right.
and your data tracker
Gotcha.
for your classes.
Okay.
And then when I review your map, like I'll give you that template to see if you want to modify, change anything, make it your own. It had like the teak on there and different stuff, but you can add, some other things if you need to.
Okay.
From that sheet.
Sounds good.
Okay. So great job today,
Thanks.
Mr. Cortez. Like, I look forward, because I see like you're so intentional with teaching kids the steps and they're really engaged in your classroom. So I just know adding this additional piece is going to be helpful just to guide you in your instructional practices and just getting better as a whole. So thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Have a good day.
You as well. All right.